Vladimir Putin might have just made his biggest mistake yet when it comes to the war with Ukraine. Let me explain. So on Sunday the 7th of September, Ukraine endured its largest ever air assault since the war began in 2022. For the first time ever, the Cabinet of Ministers building in Kiev, which is basically the heart of Ukraine's government, was struck directly. In this video, we're going to be taking a look at what actually happened, how it affects the civilians, and how it could reshape the entire war. So Russian forces unleashed a massive barrage in just one night. This included over 800 drones and at least 13 missiles, again in one night. Ukraine's air defenses did intercept the vast majority of them, but some did break through, and the ones that broke through caused fires and just caused chaos in the city. And as I said, for the first time ever during this war, one of the targets was this government building that was housing the Cabinet of Ministers. Its upper floors caught fire, as you can see here. Emergency crews obviously rushed in while government officials just stood their ground. And obviously, just like any attack during any war that's ever happened, the toll it has on the general public is heartbreaking. In this case, at least 4 people have died, and 2 of those people have been reported to have been a mother and her 3-month-old baby. Fires ripped through apartment blocks, and Kiev's mayor Vitaly Klitschko has confirmed several rescues and recoveries from all the rubble. Even though Ukraine's air defenses did intercept most of the drones, just the sheer scale of this strike completely overwhelmed them. It just shows how vulnerable the capital is when it's under constant bombardment. And you might be asking, well, Andrew, why is this attack so significant? I'm gonna bloody tell you, aren't I? Well, it's because since the war began in 2022, for 3 years now, they've never targeted a government building. Kiev's government constitutions have been spared from these attacks, and obviously that's all changed now. Striking the Cabinet of Ministers isn't about Russia trying to gain an advantage over the Ukraine. It's more Russia are trying to send them a message. This message that they're sending basically says, we can hit the core of your state if we really feel like it. And they've proved that they literally can do that. It's symbolic because it's Russia trying to hurt the entire country of Ukraine psychologically. They're trying to kill the country's morale and also put pressure on their leadership. But Ukraine responded immediately. Ukrainian Prime Minister Yulia Sviridenko appeared inside the badly damaged government building and said that the government would still continue to work. They showed huge levels of defiance and basically told Russia and the world, our government building might be badly damaged, but our institution still stands tall. But what does this mean for the actual war itself? Well, one thing's for certain, it definitely shows that Russia have switched their strategy. Kremlin is now targeting political centers instead of just energy grids and barracks like they were before. They're testing Ukraine's air defenses by launching hundreds of drones at the same time to try and overwhelm it, and as we saw, it did work. Also sends a message to NATO allies basically saying that no amount of support can protect Ukraine completely. And because of this strike, and specifically because it hit a government building in Kiev, could argue that there's now a risk of wider war. Russia is risking stronger retaliation from the West, and it could potentially pull Europe into deeper confrontation. But from a Ukrainian standpoint, how they've reacted to this strike will strengthen their narrative of resilience. They're showing that even when under an attack like this, their government and their society can still function. So it could be pretty motivating for them. And that leads on to my next point. Why could this have been a mistake from Putin? Well, as I said, there is now a risk of escalation by crossing this line. Russia could have just opened the door for NATO allies to send weapons that they were once holding back, and obviously launching 800 drones and these missiles as well, all in one night, will have burned through their supply, and yet Ukraine still managed to shoot most of them down. Russia unleashed all that firepower, and yet the cabinet is still standing. And if you look through history, bombing a capital city never really breaks morale. If anything, it makes it even higher. It literally happened to us in Britain during World War II, during the Blitz. Germany bombed London for months trying to break our morale, but realistically, it just backfired on them. Because if anything, it motivated us more and hardened our resilience, and look who ended up winning the war. Obviously, because of this attack, international leaders have now spoken out about it. Keir Starmer, along with the French President Emmanuel Macron, were quick to condemn the attack. Keir Starmer specifically called the attack cowardly and said that Putin wasn't serious about peace. Donald Trump's reacted to it. He said that he's ready to move to the second stage of Russia sanctions, which goes along with what the US Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent has said. He said that we're prepared to increase pressure on Russia, but we need our European partners to join us, because basically they believe that additional economic pressure from the US and Europe will potentially push Putin into peace talks with Ukraine. So overall, Russia's aggression could risk becoming their own greatest mistake. Ukraine's shown how resilient they are time and time again, and despite their government building literally being up in flames, it doesn't look like that's going to change anytime soon. But let me know in the comments what you lot make of all this. Like, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.